The most recent Quinnipiac poll showed the former president made big gains over just the past month, with his lead growing by 12 points. What has changed in the last month? Well, Trump started attacking DeSantis. So is it really still the right strategy for DeSantis to avoid hitting back hard and not just with sort of veiled quips? Joining me now is the former chief of staff to the vice president during the first Bush administration, Bill Kristol. Thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it. All right, so if you were consulting DeSantis, what would you advise him to do?
I mean, I'm honestly not sure. I think if we step back for 1 second, I would say this. Ron DeSantis had a very good 2022. You know, he started off the year as a possible Republican presidential candidate, governor of a major state. He ended up the year winning re-election by 19 points and what had been he had won by 1 point in 2018. Huge vindication, he can say, for his governorship. And as you showed, coming close to tying Trump basically in the polls by about January 1st of this year. So he had a very good last year. And how did he do that? He did that by not attacking Trump, not really talking much about Trump, playing all those culture war cards, and saying implicitly that you can get most of what you like about Trump without all the baggage. And I agree with you, though, that, okay, he played that. He did pretty well with that. But now we're in a different world. Trump is running and attacking him, and he has to adjust some. And he was probably going to have a little bit of a slippage anyway. It's sort of like any, if the stock goes up, that fast, right? It's going to have to give back some of those gains. So I think he has to think hard, because part of him wants to attract people who voted for Trump twice. That's 90% of Republican primary voters. He can't just say, terrible person, Donald Trump. How could you ever be for him? What a disgrace. I'm with the Manhattan DA. Can't do that. But he can't just say I'm just the same as Donald Trump. Then why not just go with Trump again? He can sort of try to say he's more electable, which he does say and his supporters say. But I kind of agree that he needs to open up some greater distance between himself and Trump, other than I kind of don't have some of that baggage.
Right. Well, I mean, you look at like Don Jr., right? I think he is sort of channeling his dad when he tweets out, so DeSantis thinks that Dems weaponizing the law to indict President Trump is a manufactured circus and isn't a real issue. Pure weakness. Now we know why he was silent all weekend. He's totally owned by Karl Rove, Paul Ryan, and his billionaire donors, 100% controlled opposition. I mean, these are just firm hits on DeSantis, coming from Donald Trump, coming from his son, coming from his allies, and from Ron DeSantis. And look, maybe this is the right strategy. That's why I'm asking you. From Ron DeSantis, it's sort of veiled quips and sort of comments about, I won the election by a lot, I'm a winner, et cetera. Is that going to survive? Because it looks like, according to the polls, DeSantis is suffering from not hitting back.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little rope-a-dope, and that sometimes works, right, in sports and boxing. But ultimately, you do need to land punches. So maybe it makes sense for now. He's not running yet formally. He still has to get stuff done in Florida. Why pick a fight right now? Why heat it up, get too hot too early? But I think the statement you made, and you showed some of it about Bragg, is kind of it's DeSantis' weakness, which is it's too clever by half. I'm going to mention Trump and the porn star and the hush money twice, so people kind of get the idea. But then I'm not going to criticize Trump exactly. I'm going to criticize the Soros-owned DA of Manhattan, and play all these kind of standard right-wing cards. And it just comes across a little bit like he met with his advisors for 5 hours, and they came up with this complicated, 80-second statement to try to touch each base without going too far. And Trump, whatever you think of him, I don't think much of him, but whatever, he and his team just go out there slugging. Half of it, 90% of it is totally made up, for all we know. A lot of it does seem to be. But nonetheless, maybe that's kind of what primary voters want a little more. On the other hand, as you know, Dan, I mean, in 2016, someone like Rubio, after not fighting back that hard at first, decided to really get into it with Trump before the Florida primary and got trounced by Trump. So it's a tricky situation.
It is. Look, I'm not suggesting, I have answers, but I can look at the numbers and I see what's happening. And, you can draw the conclusion that it's cause and effect. Bill Kristol, thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.